In the last stanza of her poem, Jamaica Wanderers, Alma Norman wrote, "We've braved the frozen northern snow and steamy tropic rain. Oh, anywhere you care to go, you'll find Jamaican men." Jamaican men and women may be found across the globe. Today, Profile will focus on a Jamaican man who enlisted in the U.S. Air Force in 1977, a year after graduating from Kingston Technical High School. He served the first 10 years on active duty in, among other places, Alaska. Soldiers are brave and courageous people, afraid of nothing except Duppy maybe. Retired Lieutenant Colonel Andre Campbell of the U.S. Air Force is my guest. This is Profile. I am Faye Ellington. I think it's fair for me to ask you to just clear up this Duppy thing, because it was long before you were a soldier. What happened?
It was long before I was a soldier. Of course, back early teens, we spent quite a bit of time on holidays in the country. So our grandparents were in Hanover, Askenish to be exact.
Askenish, a lovely name.
Yes, wonderful place. And I had this cousin who, as it turns out, taught me so much about life and people. So we were sent to the store one afternoon, and with the instructions, come back before dark.
You mean they say go to shop?
Go to shop.
Ah, yeah.
Right. About a mile away. Come back before dark was the last instructions we got. Now, this cousin, as good as he was, wanted to make sure us little Kingstonian children knew exactly what country was all about. So he told us, you know, there are certain trees along the path where Duppy lives, but you have to run. So we would get to a tree and he would say, "Duppy," and he would take off. We'd all take off running. In any event, it took a while. We fumbled around, and of course, darkness caught us on the way back. And we got to this one spot, and all of a sudden, the tree started shaking and the leaves started rustling. And he says, "Duppy!" Pitch black, and took off, left us standing there. So I won't say if I wet my pants or not, but it was quite a moment. And we eventually found our way back, of course, in the dark. But it wasn't until we got back home that we realized, well, it really wasn't Duppy in the tree, but the chickens were roosting.
Oh,
and
how
he knew that.
He
knew that.
He's fallen a rooster tree. So what lessons did you learn from your cousin and from that experience?
You know, as young people, sometimes we take for granted. Of course, we lived in Kingston. We go to the country, we think, well, you know, we get taken to school in the mornings, and he gets up, he has to take the goat out, he ties it, and he has to go get the water or whatever. So sometimes you have a sense that you are better than. Well, we're not better than. And he has taught me many times that we're not better than, because he put me in my place many times.
What was his name, or what is his name?
Rest in peace, Orville Crooks.
Well, thanks for the role he played in your life.
Oh,
at
absolutely.
In Hanover.
And you know, I've been many places off where there might be a tricky situation, and he always comes to mind. He said, if I can survive that night,
you can survive anything. No wonder you became a soldier.
I can survive.
Lieutenant Colonel Andre Campbell is my guest if you're just joining. And I'm going to take him back to the very early days now, because I'm Grow-Town. Born and Grow-Town, sir?
Born in Harborview, born and raised.
Harborview? Which road in Harborview?
Saturn, 27.
What were those early days like?
Fun. You know, unfortunately, you don't know it's fun until you grow up and you realize, wow, I had a wonderful childhood. To grow up in Harborview, to hear the water at night, the ocean, to smell the breeze, you take that for granted, especially when you're in Alaska.
Northern snow.
Northern snow, absolutely. But it was a wonderful time living in Harborview.
Give me a quick synopsis of family life, mother, father, and if there were siblings.
There was mother, father, and then there was stepmother, I have one brother at the time. We both went to St. Benedict's Primary School and then on to Harborview School. The memorable moments in Harborview for me, I remember the fruit trees in the backyard. We had a papaya tree that was the talk of the town, and my grandmother could get it sold at the shopping center. Anyone that came off the tree,
What was interesting in those days, we called it pawpaw.
Pawpaw, right?
Because it was a big fruit.
It was
No,
a
the
big fruit.
smaller ones are the papaya. That's how I distinguish them anyway.
And I developed a fascination for plants, oddly enough. Anything that grew, I would get my little stone and put round the little bush or the root and water every day.
You used to whitewash the stones?
No, I didn't whitewash the stone. But interestingly enough, my father is a retired superintendent of police here. So I wanted to set that to say that's how we grew up in that type of environment. And I remember there was one morning when the neighbor in the backyard came over and she said, "Boy, you know where you water? You know on ganja tree?"
Mercy, Father. And your father is a
An inspector police at the
So
time.
how it reached in the yard?
Who knows? The birds.
Anyway, Harborview
birds.
Primary School, and from there you went on to Kingston
From
Technical.
there
Did
went
you
on
do
to Kingston
common
Technical.
entrance?
I did the technical entrance.
Oh, technical. That's correct.
Right.
Technical entrance.
Technical entrance. Went on to Kingston Technical, and I'm not sure if it was luck or destiny, but I really had a fondness for architecture, drafting at that level, construction. So Kingston Technical was a perfect fit. You didn't know that then, but later on in life.
Well, everybody who went to Kingston Technical in those days and for a number of years came out skilled, ready to do their own thing.
Yes.
They didn't have to wait on somebody to employ them. So how did it fit you?
It just felt natural. I love drafting. And on the holidays, I went to work for one of the surveying firms in Kingston, and just loved it even more. Loved going out with the men on their surveying trips. Loved to see the finished product. Loved to see a blank canvas turns into a masterpiece. I wasn't that, the person who could visualize it, but I just loved being a part of it.
So you did technical drawing as well?
I did technical drawing, we did surveying, it was a building construction course.
Who are some of the teachers who come fondly to mind when you think of Kingston Technical?
Well, Campbell.
Who was that?
Our principal.
Who was that at the time?
Campbell was what he was fondly called, and everyone mimicked him. And, he had this baritone voice, and boys, what are you doing over there, kind of thing, and waited for you to come in late. Corporal punishment was still quite...
Oops. Oops, you're calling any meted out to you?
Quite available. Well, I won't say.
You know what that is saying.
Yes. I don't think there were many that got speared.
Not at all.
Yeah.
So that was Did you get involved in sports at Kingston Technical?
Not much. At Harborview School, I found out that I was an okay track athlete. I grew up, of course, with the Quarry family in Harborview.
The Quarry family,
Right.
Donald
So
Quarry, right?
Well, not Donald.
No,
He was
I'm saying
long
that's
gone,
his family.
But that family,
Donald
right.
Quarry's family.
And so I went to school with his younger brothers. I ran track at Harborview School against them, much to my demise. And so I even built this custom-made track around my house and the neighbor's house, where I would run around the house with the purpose, of course, of one day being able to beat Raymond Quarry. I never did, so it didn't work. But I was fair enough. I qualified for the all-age school championship at the stadium at the time. And so when I went on to Kingston Technical, of course, I was still an okay track athlete, but not the level
The focus became different.
The focus was different, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
After your years at Kingston Technical, you headed to the Jamaica School of Agriculture.
I spent a year after I graduated from Kingston Technical because, again, it's that agricultural piece, and the engineering piece, and I thought maybe one day I would pursue agricultural engineering. So I did a year at JSA. And
This was out at Twickenham Park.
Twickenham Park. Very fun memories. I spent a year as a grub. And everything that went along with that.
For the young people who don't know, grub is that when you come in for the first year, they give you a hard time,
That's
the older
right.
students, yes? They rag you, they do all kinds of
There
things.
you
Could we
go.
take a break just now?
Absolutely.
My guest is Lieutenant Colonel Andre Campbell. Was with the U.S. Air Force. He's retired, he's a Jamaican, and gets back here frequently. We'll be right back. Please stay with us.